Wild and free.
This one is live too.
Which one is like? Fast and then slows down. Okay.
Okay, so we're live.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hello.
Hello, everybody. Hope you're feeling fine.
In secondary school, still in your body.
Hello, everybody.
Feeling.
Hope you're feeling. Hope you're feeling fine.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody. Hope you're feeling fine. Hello, everybody. Hope you're feeling fine. Hope you're feeling. Hope you're feeling fine.
Hello.
Hi.
Oh, you ginger yourself, right?
Yeah, it really was. Like I told you, I've finished for today. I've closed shop for today. Hi everybody. Hi Zubi.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
How do you do?
Say hello to your fans.
My fans and air conditioners and fridges. Love you today. Nope.
We're not feeling fine. Why
Huh?
Zubi? Zubi, why aren't you feeling fine?
Zubi, come, let Bookie hug you.
You need a hug? You need a hug, Zubi?
When she gives you that hug, you
What kind
feel
of-
fine.
What kind of
We'll talk now.
Oh,
Banty!
never.
What's up, Bants? Hi, Sarah. Sarah said she sent you a kimono by the way.
Yes.
It's
Sarah, thank you. Send me your deets, okay?
Send it online so that we can hack your account.
You get me? I put that last 3 digits
Just
on
put
the
it
back
there.
of the kite.
So we can hack your account.
We need it.
What happened to my braids?
Can
Oh,
can you close the door?
Oh,
Oh, that's Sarah.
studio
That's
door,
it.
camera rolling. Okay.
Greetings to the crew.
Hey
Okay,
everyone,
Banty.
we are back.
Shakosha.
Hey, non-national.
Non-national.
Okay,
I
guys.
find myself hailing myself now. Shakosha.
Yeah,
Eh?
I just say to myself,
Shakosha.
Shakosha.
you know that's how people.
I'm hailing myself.
A new
big
language
time.
is created. You know. Anyway, how are you guys doing? So good to be back again
Yeah.
today. Well, and happy Eid. Eid
I better not go and say
Don't-
something.
Back at the salad.
Cut your
So our Muslim faithful. This will be the first layer that today's, this is the first layer that I wouldn't have tasted.
Ram
Ram
You
meat.
are not the only one, though.
What's
You're not
going
the only
on?
one.
My brother.
Hey, Ken, what's up? What's up?
I ate ram meat.
Oh,
today.
thanks,
I can't
Sarah.
even lie. I can't even deceive you.
Well, my
You
consolation.
ate ram meat.
I had
From
ram meat at
where?
home.
I
So
can't even lie.
Where is my own? So you went home. You dropped. We got to our street together.
No, I got it in the office.
it must have been from the office.
My Muslim friends in the office. They knew that they had to resign.
So you
if they
came
didn't
home.
come.
You came to pick me and did not bring.
I had
Okay.
eaten it.
Anyway, if you are a Muslim friend, you know what happened with that the chronicle of the sacrifice Ibrahim sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He wanted to go and sacrifice his son.
so what does
and-
sallallahu mean?
Peace be unto him.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Don't laugh so wrong. I was trying to get it.
so he wanted to sacrifice his son,
Right.
and God said no, and
That's
God
the
replaced
story
with yeah,
Abraham.
and
Moses.
Abraham.
Abraham. Yeah.
And you know, he asked that father, this is the
Ram.
wood,
And
this
this is
is
my
the
son.
there was no ram. No, he said this is the wood, this is fire.
Right.
Where is the
Meat.
meat for the sacrifice? And he says God will provide. So
Ah.
I am saying to all of you, Ijebu Gari is ready.
Cold
water is ready. So where is the where is the ram meat for?
God will provide. Shakosha, make
Let-
that meat possible.
Let God use all of you.
Can you imagine? It's something like I was like, what's going on? And this is probably the first time I've looked for ram meat to eat.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
When I didn't look for it,
It came.
it came.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, what's going on, everyone?
Anyway, I trust Larry to perform. I mean, she never fails. to do it.
Larry,
You better show yourself.
Larry, don't
But I mean,
forget
I
me too.
met a number of Muslims this year who didn't kill any ram this year.
I think some people killed cows instead
Yeah.
because I hear the cost of ram kind of blew up. So it was better to have bought the cow
Maybe because it was
than bought
coming from the
ram.
nut. But I mean, I had
Yeah.
goat meat, so I didn't really miss that much.
It's not the same.
It's
taste.
not the same.
It's not the same.
Ram
My
meat
dear?
is not
It's not
the
the
same.
same.
I
It's not
prefer
the
goat
same
meat
taste.
anyway.
Yeah.
I prefer goat meat
So
from.
can we come back to?
Yeah,
I know we're
let's
talking
come
about
back.
meat.
Hi, Tony.
Sorry, guys, we've just been talking about meat.
Sorry.
But that ram meat will make sense.
Um,
However, let's come back to the reason why we are here.
so why are we here?
Welcome to Real Deep Convos, everybody. My name's Bookie.
My name's D.
My name is Praise.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. We jinx each other so much. So we began, we're still on our special series on conversations, heart-to-heart conversations before the wedding bells. And we began a special within the special, a series titled The 4 Critical Considerations Before the Ring. We're talking about understanding, acceptance, respect, and love. So this is part 3 and hopefully the final part of this.
Yes.
We've talked about understanding, acceptance, respect was last week, and today is for LOVE. L is for the way you look at me.
I don't understand what these people drank today.
Water.
We
Just-
drank
just
water.
pardon them. Okay, bear with them.
Don't let me rest. Tony, let you rest as how. Anyway, so today's all about love. I know we've talked about love different times, but you can never have enough love. You can never talk too much about love. Because even, we're taught in the Bible that love is the most important commandment.
Yeah.
And the Bible talks about faith, hope, and love. The greatest of these is love.
It's love. And humanity needs love, actually.
And humanity
Yeah.
needs love.
Without love, nothing works.
Bringing it within the context of marriage and saying I do is so important to ask ourselves what love really means in a relationship that leads to marriage and how love can be sustained, I guess, in the marriage. Yeah. It's going to be deep tonight, guys. It's going to be deep.
That's why it's real deep. Okay, so
I think the first question is what is
Oh my God.
love?
Hi, Lena. Wow. Hey.
What is love to you? Because I think love means different things to different people. I think I mean, yes, maybe there's a blanket love which is like unconditional love. I love you.
That's what love is.
Every
other thing is
in spite of.
Yeah, every other thing is a variation.
Yeah.
And I think what we have done, the damage we have done to love over the years is that we have not been able to stick to love for what it is. right? Even when they teach it in religious circle, they will tell you one is filial, one is whatever,
All
one
the
is
different kinds.
then one is agape. No,
Agape.
agape is actually love. That's what it is, right? And so the fact that we were not introduced to agape and we were not socialized with agape is actually the reason for all the other problems we're creating right now.
If you even go a step backwards, isn't that where that whole we haven't even been taught the love of God?
That's
We've
what
been taught the fear of God,
Yeah.
not the love of God.
even the love of man. Have you been taught the love of man before you?
Yeah, but we're not teaching. We say God is love, right? However, and we say, oh, love your neighbor. We have all those.
We have not seen God. Can
but
we
the,
even?
but the relation, the person, the superior being that we interact with or have a relationship, we don't even know that the loving part of him. We don't have a loving relationship with him.
See, for me, we talk about God. We don't.
We
haven't seen God.
Okay.
It's like a guy who was telling me that he will control the world. He will control the world. As long as the sun is rising and the moon is going down, that will control the world. So I told him, I said, "Are you aware that some countries where the sun does not rise and it doesn't go down?" And apparently he has never heard that before. He said, "Really?" I said, "Yes." So I showed him about 6 countries and where the sun is permanently there and the moon at least 6 months in a year. And the guy was stunned. That we the way we talk about God, it makes God look very small.
Oh, we don't know
That
we have an idea.
and I always
We
say,
have an idea what
how
God-
do you even know God?
You don't.
How do you know God that you don't even know? I mean, you live in Omole, you don't know Omole,
Yes, so
right? Meanwhile, Omole is within Ikeja. You don't know Omole.
No, how
You
will
don't.
know Ikeja?
How will you know Ikeja? How will you now know Lagos?
Lagos,
How will you know Nigeria?
Nigeria.
Not to talk about Africa.
then the world.
You are not talking about the world, planet Earth.
Planet
Then you now start from other planets.
Yeah.
So what? What? These days I look at the way we talk about God.
This is what I say to people. Can you explain the color green? And they're like, so how can you explain God?
So let me even try to love Bukola that I can see.
Let's try.
And let me try.
Do you think he has the capacity?
So if I can't love this person, which makes sense when the Bible now began to say that, begins to say that if you can't love a man that you can see, don't say you love me.
Yeah.
So I am not even willing to study her, but I open my mouth to talk so much about God as if I understand him. 7 steps to God. Oh my God! Oh my God!
Oh my God!
Oh my
And then the worst part of it, or the most interesting part of it for me, is that even the God that we talk about says he becomes whatever he needs to become.
To become to anybody.
So that means to you he might be savior. To
Yes.
me he might be deliverer.
It can
to
be.
me, it might be only do
It can be Shakosha. It can be anything.
So it can be anything.
When they ask him to describe himself, he say, "I am that I am." According to Moses,
Yes.
because it can be anything to me. But you see, so I think we try to travel too far.
Yeah.
If you check the typical human being, especially Africans, we love to talk supernatural
Absolutely.
when we have not explored natural.
Natural.
See, 3 days ago, Jeff Bezos showed us what natural can do. That's not supernatural. To be able to take off from planet Earth and go to space and return, that's natural. Everybody in Nigeria has not even gotten to that level.
Yeah, we are not comparing ourselves.
We have not gotten to that level. So
Thank you very much.
how the extra of natural is where supernatural is, but supernatural is where we want to stay. You understand? So you begin to look at us, and I was reading something, and I posted it today of how it rains once in a year in Dubai, in UAE, and so they created artificial rain they did something with the drone and
in the
atmosphere, and it began to rain. So now those are
That's not supernatural.
That's natural.
That's natural.
That's natural. So many of the things we call supernatural, we have not even started exploring
We haven't tapped.
the supernatural. But again, so can we even try to understand the next man and say, okay, I have studied Bukola fully, and now I understand Bukola. Now Bukola is just one out of the 7.5 billion people that God has created in this world now, not to talk about all the ones that are dead. Before you even begin to try to understand God, Can I even understand it? Bukola is far. My dog or the ant. Do you understand? God is too vast. We go too far. Can we start with micro? Can I understand this technology for this microphone? And not seeking to explore those things and understand those things is why we are confused. Because the one that we is within our control,
We don't know it.
we don't want to go there, but we want to go to the one
Higher
that we can't describe, that he can show himself as Unipili to the people in India and show himself as something to someone else. So when we have not been taught, because if love is whatever it is to us, then we're going to run into trouble. It must have a foundation, a fundamental of what it is.
Yes.
That if I touch it, I know love is red clothes.
Right.
When I see red clothes, I know I have love.
Right.
If it now becomes whatever it is to everybody, then it becomes a problem.
Then it becomes a problem.
Because then you have different
Yes.
Yes.
So meanwhile, that agape is what we need.
Yeah.
Wherein I take a decision that I'm going to add value to Bukola, irrespective of whether she reciprocates or not,
Right.
for the rest of my life.
Right.
And she makes the decision with
For the next
someone
person.
else, right? If that is where we stay, we'll all be fine.
Yeah.
Do you understand? Then we can now begin to say, okay, when you now marry, we now begin to talk about love language and all the rest of it. Even with love language, all of us still need love.
Completely.
You
Because
need
I'm
love
going to say that
first.
even that love language, I mean, I think for me, yes, we can use that as part of the things that move us. But I think there's a higher calling to that.
It is.
The higher calling is love first.
It's love.
Yeah.
It's love.
In fact-
it is these four critical things. It's understanding, it's respect, it's acceptance, it's love.
Love
all those
is-
things are inside love.
Love cannot be what we do. Love must be who we
Who
are.
we are. Yeah.
So if I am loved, if I'm crushed,
What will come out?
what will
of
come out? Do you understand? Now, it doesn't mean love is stupid, because part of
Or
love
blind.
or blind, because part of love is watching you suffer to learn a lesson. It's part of love.
Yeah.
It's called detachment,
Yeah.
right? So love is not every time I bail you out, every time I bail you out. No, that's not what love is. But it's the
Sometimes they call it tough love.
is the decision to add value to someone else. So sometimes it is pain that will make that value
Yeah.
become very
Yeah.
real
Because
to
we
you.
learn in different ways.
Yeah. So not exploring that selflessness is where the pain in our world is. Where we now compete with each other instead of complementing ourselves and collaborating to get things done.
Yeah.
Because I will now rather go and do my own set of supporting,
Yes. Supporting you.
someone else
build,
to
yeah.
scale.
Yeah.
So I think that is what we need to be. That's why, for God so loved the world that he gave, right? That do we love enough? Have we become love, right, to the next man?
to the point that we can give.
So you see someone who cannot even love a sibling, want to love a man in marriage. Someone who is struggling to love a forgiving friend now wants to stay in with someone for the rest of his life and just expect the marriage to just work like that because we have good people or we have feelings. Do you understand? So we have not, because if we all dimension love for what it is and we all become that love, then I'll be able to relate with my siblings, with my parents, with even my enemies, right? If they ever exist, because I will now create a new narrative. I was talking to someone today who had been through pain, and went through divorce. After going through all kinds of sessions, she's doing extremely well. She's bought like 3 houses since post-divorce and blah, 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 blah. So she now said, oh, I now have a good relation with my ex. So I now said to her, I said, your ex did not really hurt you. I said, your ex was only revealed for the next level. Because imagine if you are doing all the things you're doing right now and it's still beating you. So it was revealed so that it can go out of your life for you to move to your next phase. Do you understand? So if we become love, our definition of enemy will change. Our definition of hurt will change. So imagine if, well, this person hurt me, and becomes the person was revealed. So you'll be giving testimony instead of crying. To say, oh wow, I'm so grateful. So the concept of defining love and installing love and living it out is what everybody needs to be talking about. Because if we do that, then it dovetails back to the concept of the ideology of Ubuntu. And Ubuntu is I am because you are. There is no me without you. Whatever I do against you, I do against me. And so if that is where we all stay, then I'm not going to hurt you.
Which is the principle of love your neighbor as you love yourself.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to look at her and seek to bring her down, because I know it's like the
bringing her down and bringing myself
I'm going.
down.
It's in fact the easiest way is I ask people to put their hands on someone's neck and try to pull the person down. They notice that they're going down, they're going down. But I now ask them to pull the person up. They are coming up. So love becomes a seed that unlocks your future because there is no other. So imagine you love. You have no memory of this person hurt me. I hate this person. What is he wearing? There's no gossip. There's no. And if you look at the attributes of love, it says it's patient, it's kind, it's not jealous, it's not conceited, it's not proud, it's not self-seeking. It believes all things, hope all things, endures. It never fails. Right? And so, what do we need? So, if husband and wife
believes in all things together,
hopes
all things together, support each other,
long suffering of each other,
there won't be divorce. There won't be someone slapping somebody. There won't be someone cheating on somebody because that is who we are. And I think that is what Get Born Again is supposed to provide for people, but it's becoming something else.
We don't understand the
So
concept
when
of
we don't
love
understand, so everyone is just trying to teach the version they understand.
Yeah.
So they teach it, even they are not practicing
Absolutely.
it. So we need to get to that point where we now begin to say, okay, love must become a nature where it's like if I mention Diola, you respond to me. So if you become love and I mention love or I think love, you show up on my radar because that's who you are. That you no longer have the capacity. Now, this is tough, honestly.
It is.
I was going to say that it's probably you're going to have to work on it for the rest of your life.
Well,
It's not, but it's doable.
it doesn't have to be for the rest of your life. If
Until
you
it
were,
becomes a
It's
nature.
doable.
if we were socialized with love,
If we were, that's what I'm saying. Now that we are not,
so we now need to.
now you now have to because it's against yourself.
Yeah.
Is you also having to constantly tell yourself because we're so used to looking. Sometimes you're on Instagram and you say, "What's this one even wearing? What's this? Why is her breast open?" You're seeing all the negatives without actually looking at the positives.
So what I try to do now is I position myself as a student. What can I learn from this?
Yes.
Is superior to what has it done?
What are they doing?
So over the weekend we all knew that Obi Kubana was trending. And people have
I
different.
just literally heard of it 2 days ago.
Yeah, I didn't know the guy was until last weekend. And everybody had something to say about him. What was he supposed to be? Which is the way I would preach my own research. But I also decided to look at the other side and say, how did this guy help people? How did he build brotherhood to the level where people are leaving Lagos? Someone said Kanayo went to withdraw his pension fund.
But at least he went to go and withdraw something. For me,
The capacity.
when I said to myself, this is God in action. Money is God in action. That's the way I look at it. So I actually didn't have one negative thought towards it. That's the absolute truth. I just looked at him and I said, he's whatever he's doing. I hear he gave so many people money. He set people up for business. I honestly don't care where he got his money from.
Well, we must care where people get money from again.
Because I wasn't there. I'm not there.
Yes, in creating a sane society.
Yeah.
Because it might now, Davina can now become a billionaire, and you say we don't care. A trillionaire, you don't care where she got the money from. We must care because when we care where we get money from, the process becomes replicable. To say the secret of people is in there, and that's the biggest problem billionaires in Africa have. You're always looking for some missing years that they can't account for, and so it makes it difficult for success to be duplicable replicated in this part of the world. But it's a story for another day. However, it's not the only one who has money, right? And so the fact that it was able, that people stood for, because in crisis when you actually know whether you are people or not. That people stood for him, even though I have a challenge with this culture of throwing money and allowing poor people to scramble for it. I think it's demeaning to their humanity. I don't think it's something Africa should promote because I can give you money without making you scramble. I mean, that's why I don't like the culture of giveaway on social media. Where it's not sustainable. You can actually set up a foundation and say this foundation will only be able to reach out to 2,000 people this year, and 2,000 you can identify them, you can track them, that's more sustainable. Because what has happened is, I was trying to analyze it, and I said it's the difference between transfiguration and transformation. We are used to transfiguration. Oh, the guy gave us money, so another 3 weeks the money is finished. But so I said that transfiguration is throw a party, throw the biggest party, everybody eats, let's die, and that's it. Show us how to generate the money that through the party, so that we can party for the rest of our life. That's the difference, and I think that's where we need to stay, because that's where God is. But you see, again, what I however say to people is, for every negative you see, there must be a corresponding positive. That when you now get to that level where you lack the capacity, which is why I tell people, when Buhari does what is good, I clap. But when he does what is bad, I can't clap, right? Because you need to be able to be balanced in your perspective to things, right? However, it must be done from the standpoint of love, because you can't violate love. So if your child says to you, mommy, do you love me? You say, I love you. And she goes to stand on 40th story of the building, 40th floor, and says, mommy, you love me, I'm going to jump. Now, love will not be jump. Love at that point will be
almost push her back to reality.
Exactly. Right? That might be painful to have. The mommy is not allowing me exercise, but love knows that I love you enough not to allow you to destroy yourself, because you are going to kill yourself, right? So, and that's the dimension of love, that when you apply it, people they now say you are mean, because they think love is all rosy, all nice. Love is your capacity to withhold when you need to withhold, to save the person from himself, because he says, oh, I need money, so he's spending money. What did you use money for? I don't know. I need another money. You are going to be funding that person's responsibility, and that's not love. That's so enablement. So we need to get to that point where, for everything people talk about, can we see the good side? Can we see the lesson? So I was saying that I am become a student where I'm first looking for what can I learn, and add to my notes. You and I have been listening to The Science of Getting Rich, and I think one of the most profound things the guy said is that if you want to be rich,
condemning other people,
talking about poverty, joining movement to stop poverty. In fact, he said, if you are in a meeting where they are saying things that contradict
to your feeling, get up
and leave. I mean, that was the part that tripped me the most. And that's so key. That you can surround yourself with love, that there is no moment for hatred. So it's the energy. It now defines your aura. I mean, I was talking to someone who says to me, praise, that guys are now coming. This was a lady that nobody was asking her out before. So I said it's because your aura has changed. Because she used to be very negative, but now she's positive. I said your aura has changed. So I said, but how come they are as if they are calling them? So I said, yes, we are magnets, right? And so you are on the frequency, and people are picking the frequency, and they are now coming in your direction. So is to say that when we look at things and we position ourselves to say, what can I learn? Right? Because if that will find, right? And you will always see. So if I'm looking for negativity in her, I will find it.
Regardless of whether she's fantastic.
There will be positivity in her, but I won't say it because I'm a negative person. So every time we get into negativity, it must be a feedback to us that you still have something to deal with and to conquer.
In the same vein, like if you're looking for love, you'll find love.
Yes.
If you're looking for love in your partner or spouse or whatever it is, you'll find love. So I was talking to someone a couple of days ago now, and she was like, she doesn't know how to respond when people say I love you, like even just family or friends, when she's on the phone and they're like, oh, see you later, talk to you later, love you. She's like, she doesn't know how to respond. And I
know this person.
And I was like, why?
I know the person.
Why would you?
No, you don't.
I know the person.
Why would you?
I don't think you know this person.
I know this person.
Okay.
And maybe you know somebody that
That
is
is like
like
this
that.
person.
I
You
know.
know this particular person.
Okay.
And I said, but why? It just doesn't. I said, so is it that you don't like? How is it? Is it just never said those words before?
Yeah.
So if people say to you, "I love you," how do you respond?
It
It
depends.
depends. This one too. This one made me get out.
No, it depends.
So
It depends.
Me, I'm an absolute lover.
Mhm.
So if you tell me I love you, I would tell you I love you.
Good.
Absolute lover.
So I mean,
I
that's
have
that's,
no, and to it could be anybody.
that's what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Or you can say thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, I say
that's another
thank you.
answer.
I say
Yes.
thank I say thank you.
But the other people,
sometimes.
some people don't. They want you to respond "I love you" back in return. They
I've-
don't want to hear thank you.
I think that's a self-esteem issue.
Well, you
Mm.
can't define how I respond to you.
Absolutely.
You know, I determine, and there again, that. So if you say I love you,
Mm.
you shouldn't even expect a response.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I need
Love
you.
is a gift. Yeah. So if you are now expecting me to say something and you now get offended,
Yeah.
then that's no longer love. It
Mhm.
means it's
You're
yin and
expecting,
yang.
yeah, you wanted
Yeah,
something
because
in
you
return.
you should be able to say regardless of whether it's
Yeah.
respond to you,
Mhm.
except it's now become a cliche. You're just doing mouth exercise
Mm.
and you don't really
Love you.
love.
Love
Yeah.
you.
But some people, I mean,
mm.
they I know someone or I know people, I mean my work, that when you begin to love them, they run away.
Because it's unfamiliar.
Yeah.
It's unfamiliar.
Because they just see it as no, I don't want this.
It's unfamiliar. And it could be understandable because they didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
You know, they didn't receive
And
it.
sometimes you're loving
growing
people, they believe it's too good, they believe you want something.
Mm.
Or they feel, oh, this is too good to be real,
Yeah.
or too good to be true. You know, so you are saying that it's too good for me to be me. You know, because that's what, if love is who you are, you know, I think it's something we need to intentionally, because many of the things were things that we learned
Mm.
from our parents, from the people around us.
Mhm.
You know, and so if we have love ambassadors or love model, you know, who can truly show us how to love genuinely, then it might be easy for us to observe and learn, you know, and now replicate, you know, to other people. And it takes one person to actually start this campaign to say, I'm going to love. And so if I love Bukola love people the same way I've loved you, you know. So that's how this revolution can start, you know, because we can talk from now to tomorrow and people still do what they want to do, you know.
Yeah.
And that's why I always ask people in a marriage or in a relationship, when the guy says I love you, you need to ask, what is love?
To you.
What is the definition?
Yeah.
You know, because
Yeah.
again, when you now ask people to define it, you might just realize that the person
Oh,
doesn't-
what is it that makes you
a lot
love
of people
me?
actually don't know what it means.
Hmm.
You know, because we haven't also been, not maybe not everybody, but I think a lot of people don't also know how to appreciate praise, right? And it's that's part of love.
they don't know how to appreciate praise, because every time they try to praise themselves, they call them proud.
I'm not even sure that a lot of people have tried to praise themselves.
I still did it in class on Friday.
I'm not
asking
sure a
to
lot of
praise them,
people have praised
and they
themselves.
couldn't do it.
Exactly. So, and then when you now do it, when you do it to people, I do it to my workers. I've said this before.
Mm.
I send them voice notes telling them how phenomenal they are, what I love about them, what I admire about them, and what I want to emulate about them. You see them, it's almost like sometimes they're crying. Sometimes they're like, this means a lot to me. And I'm like, I'm just telling you who you are. You know, and that's all I'm doing. But we don't know it. So when someone says you look good, it's stop it. Can we say thank you? Can we say thank you? Sometimes before I used to say, I'm trying so hard. I'm not trying hard. So I'm doing it effortlessly. So it's part of it. It's part that warm part of us does not really exist.
So what do we look for?
It exists. I would say it doesn't exist.
It's
It has,
dormant.
It has, yeah, it's dormant.
It's dormant.
Well, okay,
It
so
now needs to be
maybe that's a
activated.
different English.
Yeah.
So when
if that makes you sleep better
when-
at
yeah,
night.
yeah.
when people
It
say
does.
I love you, what should people look forward to?
That's a very good question. because I was even going to say ask before, like when someone says I love you,
But
how
the
is
someone
how is
also
received?
wouldn't the someone matter? Because if you said to me, "I love you," to me, I'm like, oh, my friend, cares about me, or is just sharing his feelings or his appreciation towards me.
I think there must be.
But if you're saying
I'm
it to
talking
someone
now
else,
about, no, I'm
must be-
talking about people who are
Yeah.
intending to get
There must
married.
be parameters to measure love, because if you don't have those parameters, you are now going to have a situation where what the media project is what
what
people
you
are going to look
accept.
out for.
Yes.
And that's why when you ask a typical, I mean, not a typical, some of the ladies I've worked with, right? You ask them, how do you know he loves you?
Oh,
And
he
they say,
buys me
he's
gifts.
buying me gifts, he's going to be there
He's
for
nice.
me, he will not
Yes.
cheat on me,
Yes.
and things like that. So we need to be able to have like 4, 5, 6 parameters that makes you know this is, and you see that First Corinthians 13 is very scary actually, because it says that you may give your body to be burnt and still not have
I
love.
know, yeah.
So you ask yourself,
What really is love?
what could we be looking for?
It's being able to
It-
die for you,
So,
literally.
and I was thinking about it,
Literally,
and
that's
it
what
dawned
it
on
is.
me that the guy could be trying to make history. Maybe
What
enter Guinness Book
kind
of
of
Records.
history?
Enter Guinness Book of Records as the first guy in the history. You know, he will be remembered forever as the first guy
That got burned.
to got burned for. And it says you may do all those things and not have love. I think there's got to be something more. And off my head, I think one of the ways to measure it is value adding.
I was going to say that. I was
Yeah.
going to say that.
How much
Value.
value is a person adding to your life?
And when you ask,
And how much room does he give me to expand?
when you ask
or
a
grow?
lot of people
Yeah.
Yeah.
who are in a
Or her.
relationship,
Yeah, or her.
the value, to measure the value the person they are dating is adding to them, they struggle to find that value.
Because do they
Even
know
after that,
value
they are
is?
unwilling to leave the relationship.
Of course.
So to say, okay, what value has this person? I mean, because I've had cases where you ask what value has he added to it, they can't find it. In fact, he has taken away from them.
Yeah.
Yet it becomes very tough for them to leave. So value adding should be,
Yeah.
if you are
I think
listening
it's
to us,
it's critical.
I mean, value adding to
Yeah,
say
should be one of the
you want to be able to
parameters.
measure what,
Yeah.
and that value adding has got to be okay. So when it comes to my personal development,
He's
or
or
is
she
he interested?
Yeah.
When am I free to be myself around this person, or the person is trying to cut me off from my support system and all, or is it do I, when I think about this person, do I hear more of his voice of criticism than his voice of affirmation, encouragement,
or
and things
whatever.
like so? I think value adding should be number one. 2 can be maybe selflessness.
I think so. But selflessness also is not.
selflessness
Nice,
is
give your body to be done to selflessness.
It's relative, and we have
Maybe
said that love is not
Selflessness without expecting
Thank you.
a return.
Yeah.
Yeah. To say, I'm going to do this because
I love you.
I love you.
Yeah.
And I always say to people, part of loving someone is actually letting them go as well.
Yes. Because sometimes that relationship is over.
Yeah, you can get, it may not even be over.
No, I mean,
You are in a relationship with someone.
I mean that relationship or that whatever you have with that person for that moment is over.
Hi,
Yeah.
It
Tope.
doesn't mean that you won't still cross your paths won't cross.
You can be in a relationship with
But-
someone, and let's say there are 2 of you jostling over the same person, and you look at it, and you look at yourself. You really want this person, but you now realize that the potential of this person will be better with the other person. Part of
Okay.
love is letting go.
Right.
To say, you know what, I love you, I want you for me, but I think you might be better off
With that person.
with that person.
But that's if you know the person.
That's what I'm
That's if you know the person. If you are calm enough to know the person,
Yes.
to say, okay, I think that you are better off because everybody's going to be thinking about themselves.
Yeah.
Again, so love is not selfish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then also, with that selfish, we also then say, but you need to think about yourself first.
You need to
Is
know.
that selfish?
Well, knowing yourself.
You have to think of yourself and your
DJ
own
Mo.
and your well-being and your own self-care
No,
first before you start to think of the next person.
Because you see, you need to exist before you can share yourself.
Yes.
You need to have blood before you can donate.
So that's not selfish.
Yeah,
Right.
if you don't have blood and you are
Self-love,
and you are donating blood,
you die now.
you are already dead. In fact, you are now
all the
you are also
you have murder.
you are a threat to the other person because
Yeah.
the time they should have used to source for blood elsewhere, you are pretending that you have blood and
You have
blood,
blood.
and you don't have blood, so you die and the person dies.
They will
And that's not what. So developing yourself, loving yourself is still part of the process of, because love is within you and it's who you are. Right. So yes, you need to think about you. There's nothing wrong with that.
Okay. No, I just wanted for clarity that that's not being selfish.
No, it's not.
Okay.
It's not.
Yeah.
So adding value, selflessness
ish.
Selflessness ish.
Yeah.
And that's probably also going out of your way.
Yeah, respect
Yes.
respect for the person.
Yeah.
Because it talks about love is not jealous. It's not jealous.
Respect for the other person's
Yes.
space.
Yes. Allowing me become me, without seeking to turn me to who you think I should become.
Yeah.
And when even me does not align with your worldview, willingness to still accept.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just allow me be me, and I don't have to align.
That's tough, man.
Yeah.
That's very tough.
And also
especially after the ring. That's very tough.
But also, it's also not expecting the other person to complete you. Because if I depend on you to complete me, if for example you're a Bragolis bottle full 1.5 liters, and I'm a 750 or the half bottle, so 70 cl or something, or 75 cl. Even if I give you everything in my bottle, you still won't be full.
Yeah.
But I've given you everything. And I keep saying to you, I've given you everything.
Yeah.
But our capacities are different. So can I not have to depend on you to fill me up? Can I fill myself up whilst you do you?
But I may not even know that I'm not filled up. That's another problem. You see, this thing is complicated.
That's in fact, it brings me to that thing of
I know Saruma is listing adding value, selflessness, respect.
Yes,
Yeah.
of my other half.
No, the
Can we talk about
the
that?
concept
That
of better
Can we talk
does
about
not.
my other half?
It doesn't
my better
exist. There is
half?
nothing called
But
better.
that's also because we think we need someone else to complete us.
We don't need better half. You need the person to
We're
be
complete
themselves.
already. We should then complement our completeness.
It's one of the things wrongly taught. I don't think it exists.
Yeah.
Say you're better half. So what are you? Are you the worst?
Jonathan, were you worster?
No, because and that's why we say that marriage, both of you need to be independent before you can be interdependent. What we have in many cases is independent person,
or both of them
are dependent. So
nobody can stand on his own.
So those are the challenges we've had over time when it comes to things like this. But you need to get to the point where everyone is able to groom themselves. Because if you don't exist, it becomes very difficult to respect someone else. If you don't respect yourself, respect for yourself is why you study. Respect for yourself is why you grow yourself. Respect for yourself is why you are aware that I have this terrible habit and I need to work on it because this terrible habit is infringing on someone else's right or is affecting the next person. Is awareness. That's respect for self. And so if you don't have respect for self, you will not respect the other person.
Of course.
Right? Because you can't treat people better than the way you treat yourself. So it's important for people to get to the point where you say marriage is for two people. As a matter of fact, when they ask me when should I get married, I always say to people that you need to get married at that point where you think you don't actually need marriage. Because at that point you are becoming independent. Then you are now qualified to be interdependent. But when you still think, when I ask you why do you get married? The Bible says you cannot live alone. I said no, but everything you are saying, you need a spouse to do it. A partner can do that. A friend can do that.
You can do it.
So
are you? Why are we looking at other people?
So we've talked about value adding. We've talked about selflessness.
And
we've talked about respect.
And then complement your completeness.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like that. I like the way you put it.
Yes. Compliment my completeness.
Yes. It's important.
My better half. My
No.
other half.
No.
No.
Drop that.
that is
my
crap.
left ventricle.
my,
The bone on my bone.
my right bobby.
Just yanning
You
dust.
need,
Oh my
because
god.
the ultimate stage in life is singleness. You will need to be single, because without singleness, that's why people trouble their spouses. You know, so they have no life, they have no
Yes,
friendship,
nothing.
so they begin to now. So now,
So
so
now
you have
must be
someone,
my air conditioner,
yeah,
must
you have
be my
someone
fridge,
who's
you
got
must be my
support
television.
system, who's got friends. You don't have any.
Yes.
You now say, but we are supposed to be best of friends. So the person should no longer talk to their friends. So they must be talking to you
To
alone.
you alone.
Because I mean
You
that,
don't
that,
have
that,
friends,
that's a
yeah.
problem.
Mom says, what's the place of expectations in love and marriage? Expectation. Expectation ló ń bá gbogbo ẹ̀ jẹ́. No. But you will.
Somebody wants
There's
to ask
no
a
way you will not have
question.
expectations.
You know the thing is, please go
Please go ahead. Yes, please ask your question.
You know
please,
the
guys.
thing
Ask your
is,
questions.
I always say
Expectation,
expectation is not bad, honestly,
No,
but
it's not.
I say to people that
as long as you share
blessed is he who has no expectation, but he shall not be disappointed.
Yes,
it's not your husband's
but
motto.
as human beings,
You need to communicate. There's nothing bad with
Yeah.
that. You need
there's
to
nothing wrong
you need
with
to
it.
communicate.
Yes.
To say, hey, this is what I expect, because again, it's part of what we teach. To say you can't expect me to know how to treat you,
If I don't teach you,
right? Which is where if people have the user's manual, you know, it solves all this problem.
Yes.
Because I know what gets you upset,
yes.
and when you're upset, I know how to get you out.
pamper you.
You know, because once that is clear, then it
Mm.
becomes very, very easy. Oscar, go ahead and ask your question. We're waiting. You know, so yeah, expectation is very key in marriage, because even love is not careless,
Yeah.
and so with
It's
love,
not blind.
it's not blind. There's
Yeah,
expectation
yeah,
as well,
yeah.
right? To say,
Exactly.
hey, I mean, I expect you to begin to crawl at this stage.
Yes.
That I am not now carrying you doesn't mean I don't love you. I still love you.
But
You know, but
crawling,
now you
try
need
and
to.
put your-
Yeah.
Because also, I mean, it's like also then saying, I forgive you, I allow you to do what you want to do, but what you're doing is somewhat affecting me.
Yeah.
I'm not saying no because of that. No, I must be able to come out and say, look, this is what I make what you do mean.
Yeah. In fact, I think because so, for example, walking away is also part of love,
Yes.
and people don't
Separation is part
people
of
don't
love.
think that is love.
You know, I was telling somebody just today when she was telling me about friends, and
A girl cheated on me, and she told me what. Oh, a girl cheated on me, and told me, "What's your take on it?"
well, first of all, be grateful that she even shared. She didn't have to. Now, of course, for me, that's what I'll say. Because if she didn't tell you, you would never know.
You will never know.
Yeah.
But for me, it's deeper than that. Because you know what I realized? That when people do that, there's something deeper than the cheating. The cheating is surface.
They are looking for
There's
something.
a root cause. And most of the time is that they feel they didn't get enough love or appreciation or acceptance from people. So now they're getting it from different places, and it's something that they enjoy.
Yeah.
Now the discipline that they should form against it, they don't have they don't have the strength to.
You know,
So it's a weakness.
oftentimes when you are not in the shoe of the person, you may not know.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
like someone who says, "But I don't feel affinity. I don't feel affection for opposite sex,"
Yeah.
and you say, "No." That's what I tell people, and you need to understand that. Of course, we know some people do it for money purpose, and some people are just very stupid about this thing. But
Yeah.
there are people who actually feel these things and all.
Yes.
So
Hi, Richard.
I would ask you,
What he said, there's dutiful love and motivated
motivated
love.
is cheating a deal breaker for you?
Uh-huh.
You need to answer that question if it is a deal breaker, because if you know you cannot, for me, it's not a deal breaker for me. I can forgive, right? And I would move on nicely without even thinking about
You
it.
know, I think I've gotten there.
Good.
I used to be in a different place.
Yeah.
If you cheat, initially I used to say, if you cheat on me, I'll cheat on you back.
Yeah.
And then both of us would not start to
Uh-huh.
decide whether I want to be together. But I've moved away from
Yeah.
that.
So, but if it's a deal breaker for you, because
Then-
you can now make the person's life miserable.
miserable.
Yeah.
By reminding
you
them
must
of-
suffer every day of your life.
And you know, interesting
Right.
thing, another attribute of love is love does not keep a record of wrong.
it doesn't. So I can't keep reminding
Yeah.
you.
So
that
as
you
far
have
as I'm
hurt me.
concerned,
You
in
know, for me, like once I've dealt with it, I've moved on. If something similar happens further down the line, I would say that's how that time you now did this. I deal with
let me even shock
at that
you.
present time.
You
But
know-
most people can't do
You
that.
know, cheating or adultery is a narrative we have given it,
Yeah,
Mm.
absolutely.
and it may not be. I'll give you an example.
Absolutely.
I ran an assessment of a lady who cheated on her husband. Ran a deep assessment. An assessment revealed that based on her personality type, she should not have the capacity to cheat. So I knew something must be deeper because she's a very disciplined person. You know, so when I began to probe, I asked her what state she was in at that
When it
time.
happened.
And she said she was depressed.
Oh.
In fact, she said 3 days before it happened, she had decided to commit suicide. Right? And that guy was the guy who was around
Bounce
her,
back.
you know,
Shoulder.
talked her into blah, 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 blah. So at that point,
She was
she
vulnerable.
just felt this was the only person who really loved me. So I asked her, how did you feel you did it? She said, Praise, honestly, if you want the honest answer,
I loved it.
I did not feel like killing myself afterwards. I now had a new reason to live.
Wow.
Now, if you stay within religious space of right and wrong,
You
you
will not
can't
be able to-
understand this.
yeah.
You will even say you are condoning
You say
immorality.
You are a prostitute.
But life has taught me
Yeah.
that sometimes it's deeper than that.
Mm.
Or how do you explain that? I mean, if we have to create labels for people in the Bible, if we have to create labels for people in the Bible, David, when we remember David,
What?
we should be calling him
we
adulterer,
shouldn't even be talking about David.
Uh,
We
we
should
just-
be
it-
talking about David.
a killer.
And
We
when
should-
we talk about David, it should be with venom.
Yes,
And say
but
how
this guy
demonic he was.
is called a man after God's heart. Do you understand? So it means that, and this is where I process it. I always say to people, you see, we see the surface.
God sees.
God
deeper.
sees his entire history.
Yeah.
He knows his trajectory to where he is,
Yeah.
knows the pain of his childhood.
Yeah.
So you can look at something and God will be speaking based on the potential. Because God speaks based on their identity, not even what you're doing.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why I could look at Gideon and say, you are a mighty man of valor, even when what he was doing was a job meant for lazy people and stuff. You know, so I'm not in that space where I say this or that or white or black when I'm working with people. You know, but my brother, what I think, I often repeat it when we have issues. Okay, so if it's a deal breaker, love would be to let the lady go. Or love will be for you to check yourself in to see a counselor or a therapist to work with you, because as long as you keep saying what is playing in your head is cheating, you are not helping yourself. You are, and trust me, that narrative is not totally correct. There is more to that, right? So when what now begins to play on your head, because what we do in healing is to change the meaning, to now say maybe she's suffering from learned helplessness, right? Then empathy will replace judgment. So again, it depends on what it is for you. If it's a deal breaker, if you sleep, okay, you say on the other hand, I genuinely love her. If you genuinely love her, I'm going to recommend that you talk to a therapist. That will really help you, because you now need to appropriate. Because when you see the person, if you still see the sin or you still see the pain, then you're going to wreck yourself.
Just being the same.
You're going to wreck yourself.
That says David was sociologically fragmented, but theologically astute.
Aha.
Then he says your value orientation shows involuntarily. If you're brought up with a culture of dishonesty, you will cheat certainly. Yeah, your value orientation shows.
Yeah.
You know, I think also, I mean, when it comes, there are a lot of people going through a lot of pain.
A lot.
And I think maybe God put us through this work or into this space for compassion, because even today, these days I have sessions that I didn't even plan for. My colleague just sat down to say, "How are you?" And we went into a almost 2 hours conversation that we even both started crying in the process.
People are looking forward to talk to.
She said, "I just came in to say hello." I said, "But there are things that she didn't tell me, but because my own intuition is on point, I started to share it with her." And she was like, "Well, how did you know?" I said, "Because I can feel it." I can feel what you're feeling
People are going through stuff. People are going,
So many people are going through things,
and that's why we need to quit. We need to quit. I mean, Bible verse that says God did not send the Son into the world to condemn the world, but that through him the world will be saved. When we stand there, life takes a different meaning. That I mean, what we are doing is to condemn the world, but that through him the world will be saved. You can't save what you condemn.
Yes.
Right? You create.
You can't build and tear.
Yeah, you create a narrative.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm looking at God and everything existing in him, and I'm like, what kind of guy is this God?
But we have the capacity because he has made us in his image.
Yeah, so it's now you human beings are mimicking machine. People don't know that you can create a narrative that defines how you see what you see in a way that is not injurious to you, it's not injurious to the person, and you're able to deal with the person because you see we are different developmental stages. If you had met me 18 years ago, you will not want to, because I was a sex addict. I was smoking. If you had judged me based on that and you had discarded me,
they'll be talking to you.
yeah, but human beings are very complex. We are not like that. Someone can be so bad yesterday and before you know
just a switch.
So again, when we look at people's misbehavior, we don't process it through the handling. How were they handled? Who was the person that raised this person? I mean, I talk about R. Kelly. R. Kelly, everybody is surviving R. Kelly, surviving, but nobody's talking about the 5 ladies that his mother left him with at age 6, who took turns to rape him repeatedly every day.
But they're only talking about what he's done.
Yes.
But it came from
so
somewhere.
nobody's talking about that pain that nobody paid attention to, right?
And he became a celebrity, he wasn't even ready for
exactly. So we
happened.
don't. I mean, and I think that's why sometimes there are people you see and you wonder, why has God not killed this person? And God is just wondering because he knows where the person is coming from. And that's why you see sometimes love will look like compromise, but love is not compromise. Right? It's not compromise. It's just that we don't. I mean, see the woman that was caught in the very act and that was brought to Jesus. Jesus did not say, don't kill her. It says, I do not also condemn you. Go and sin no more. But that's not our approach. Our approach is
stone her to death.
You tongue lash her. You look at her and say immorality. You go to the back of the church. You are a useless person. God cannot use you again, or he cannot use you again. You know, that's our attitude. But you see, it says I don't, because he took it a notch higher. To say he didn't. If he had said he that had not fornicated, cast the stone. You know, they would have killed her. Because there will be people there who are not fornicated. But he took it a little. I mean,
it was not a little.
Yeah, to say
he took it to the top.
He that is without sin.
Wrong. Because sin is sin.
And every one of us, we do what is wrong every day.
Every day.
You know, but what we try to do is to now categorize some sins, including the person that is throwing the stone. You know, so when I talk to people who say, "Oh, this was not my spouse, I cannot forgive," I say, "Okay, so be." Compare lie to cheating. I said, really?
So cheating is the almighty.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, the guy is saying it's a difficult one for me, as I was already on the process of a visa. My brother, I think you should you can slide into my DM and let's see what we can do with you, or maybe I'll send you to Adiola. She'll have your time actually. You know, and let's see how we can help. You know, because if you genuinely, I mean, she told you, and that's very critical.
That's courage, man.
Now, I mean, some people will not tell you. You means that she's already feeling guilty and she's sober, right, about this. And for me, if I have someone who does that to me, honestly, I'll first chill. I'll move on. I'll move on with her to say, hey, I appreciate the fact that you could tell me, you know, and then we analyze what went wrong. How do we ensure that this doesn't repeat itself? And I think that's what it is, because we're human beings. I mean, except you are saying you fell from heaven. But if after this,
love in spite of.
But if after this you still don't feel cool to move on with her, love is letting her go. Letting her go. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh my God! It's 2 minutes to 8.
Wow. Yeah, love in spite of. I mean, that's one of my mottos. I love you in spite of. You know, And every day I find myself leaning closer and closer to
Yeah.
who I say I am.
We all need to help ourselves become love, and humanity needs love is what mankind needs.
Love is
And,
what
and you see, what I've noticed is the people who really love are the ones God is now using to innovate what the whole world can use.
Yeah.
Right? So if you
Because
only
they're thinking about the
because they are
world.
thinking about
if you only love Muslims, you cannot innovate beyond for Christians,
yeah.
because you are going to shut them out.
Of course.
Which is what we're trying to do. We're trying to exclude some people
Yes.
from God.
the things
Yeah.
that
So
we're
we call
doing.
them unbelievers.
Yes.
They are not from God.
God will not use these
Unequally
people.
yoked.
Despite the fact that it's God of all flesh. So we
Yeah.
say they are not part of us.
Yeah.
We try to exclude them.
Yeah.
And so God is making them indispensable to us,
Even
because
amongst Christians,
every of God's
we divide
products,
ourselves.
God sends rain
Yeah.
to fall on everybody.
Everybody.
So you see all these guys,
Jew and Gentile.
they think of Mark Zuckerberg, Bill Gates. They think of humanity, right? So I always say one of the best ways to measure love is what I'm innovating. Can it
how many
serve the
people?
rest of the world?
Right.
He told Abraham, through you, all the
the-
families of the earth.
Yeah.
All is all.
Yeah.
Straight, whatever, black,
crooked.
all has got to be all. So can your art accommodate all?
Everybody.
That's the question I want to leave you with.
Yeah.
Can your art accommodate all? If your art cannot accommodate all, then you can't innovate all. And the best way my friend does it, Fisayo will just say, 1,000 people, an earthquake happened in Japan yesterday and 2,000 people died. Say, how does that make you feel? If you say it doesn't make you feel anything,
That's Japan. That's
then,
what some people will
then
say
it
that.
means you cannot innovate for the rest
Japan,
of the
yeah.
world,
Yeah.
because you have excluded Japan, because Japan means nothing to you. Right? And in Nigeria, ordinary Zaria, it doesn't mean anything to us. So we need to expand our capacity to actually love humanity. To say that, hey, you know what? Whether they appreciate it or they don't appreciate it, I'm living my life. This microphone doesn't need to say thank you after this show.
Abi?
We will become next week. After the show, we usually pack it, and it will still come. It will still
And it's there.
do what is function. Created to do.
Yeah.
So you must not be thank you freak.
Yeah.
That lack of thank you.
It's not a problem.
It's not
Yeah.
a problem.
So I always tell the people, if you can't imagine God becoming devil because you didn't praise him, then if you are becoming something else because somebody did not say thank you, then you must have been acting all the
there's
while.
something you
That's
need to
not
work
who
on. Yeah.
you
Yeah.
are.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone.
So
Yeah.
just
Time runs so fast.
I think I like what Praise said just now, which is we should expand our capacity for humanity, expand our capacity to love humanity. I think that is where we should say good night.
Wow, time runs so fast on this show. I don't know. And when
So we started by talking about love before marriage, and we expanded it because I think love is a bit more than just like if you can pick some of these things, then it'll be easier.
It cascades.
Yeah.
It cascades. I think
Yeah.
it trickles down. Yes, love before, because if you don't love the person, and it's beyond just saying feeling that
Jim.
that Jim in your body, that I love you, you love me, oh, we're in love. If you can fall in love, they say you can fall out of love.
Absolutely.
So it's loving yourself, it's loving this other person, it's accepting, it's an understanding, it's respecting, it's valuing, adding value. It's all those different things that if we did for ourselves, we could do for the next person. That's so much easier to then say, okay, by the time we both join 2 + 2, we'll give 4.
Yeah, that's the most important thing. What you do to yourself is what you do to others.
Definitely.
So if you show yourself love and you're not quick to criticize yourself and judge yourself and hurt yourself and say demeaning things and words to yourself, it'll be easier not to do it to other people.
Yeah.
And once you get to that point, then it becomes, if I never knew the word shut up or you're a fool, I would never say it to you.
If you're a fool means that you are handsome,
Yes,
I will say it to you and you will, wow, I feel good. I'm a fool. Wow, fool. Fool Diola. And you will. Anyway, guys,
So
we see you.
Start to say the right. Love you. Love
Thank you, Sarume. Thank you, everyone
Thank
who's
you.
joined the show.
That's
We
the
love
end
you.
of
Thank you,
this
Benga.
4 critical something. We'll back
Before-
next
before the
week.
ring.
Yes, with something else.
Continue updating shall be love indeed. Yes.